BattleTech marks the return of the eponymous franchise to its tactical roots, and whilst harebrained schemes have done a great job of getting you straight into blowing limbs off the enemy, there is still a lot of nuance to discover. I'm Pucechan, and in this video I'll be going over 10 things you should know to help get the most from your Lance of mechanized behemoths. BattleTech allows you to turn your BattleMechs after moving, which is critical to keep in mind as every part of your walking death machine can be unceremoniously severed, leaving a void where an arm once hung. Being able to move damaged portions of your mech out of harm's way or to position yourself to take advantage of an enemy weakness should always be on your mind. Mechs have less protection at the rear, so that's always a good target. Right-clicking an enemy also allows you to examine it in detail to pick out those weak spots. There is a ring beneath enemies that indicates where you are aiming and are likely to hit. It's not a guarantee, but trying to take advantage of damaged areas should always be your priority. Movement is an effective form of defense in BattleTech, as moving gives you evasion charges which are shown as chevrons near the BattleMech nameplate. They're also shown at the end of the cursor as you're making a move, so you can see how many charges you'll have once you've finished. The further you move in a turn, the more charges you gain, with each charge making you more evasive by affecting your assailant's chance to hit. By the same token, the enemy also gains charges. You can use the sensor lock ability to reduce these by 2, as well as reveal an unknown target, but any shot attempt will also reduce them individually, regardless of if it hits or misses. This makes taking pot shots at the enemy, even with low chances to hit, useful for setting up potentially good shots with other mechs. Melee attacks are often quite strong in games, and BattleTech is no exception. But more importantly, they also ignore evasion charges completely, and can also remove the guarded status effect, making them incredibly useful for setting up 1-2 punch situations. Using a melee attack also doesn't generate heat or affect stability, making it a good option if you need to allow your mech to cool down. Mechs equipped with jump jets can also perform death from above maneuvers, which whilst powerful are guaranteed to damage your legs, giving them a risk-reward element. Getting up close and personal also fires off any support weaponry your BattleMech might be packing. Machine guns, flamers and short lasers can add a little extra oomph behind your stomping feet and flailing arms of justice. Who goes when is an incredibly important bit of information to know in a tactical strategy game, and initially it's not that obvious how it works. Turn order in BattleTech is determined by each unit's initiative. This is displayed by a numbered hexagon near each unit, with an overview at the top of the screen using chevrons to indicate how many units are in each initiative phase. You can use the reserve option to push your own lance's turns into the next phase, if you want to coordinate different classes of BattleMech. Certain abilities and actions, like knocking down a mech for example, can also force it into the next phase. In general, light mechs will move before medium mechs, with heavy mechs moving last. Dim chevrons or greyed out hexagons indicate that the unit has moved this turn. This gives you useful tactical information that can be used to sensor lock effectively without wasting the effect, as well as help determine who to focus fire on. When positioning your units, there are a variety of visual cues to illustrate what you can and can't fire at. A straight red line means you have a direct shot. An arced red line means that you can't see the target, but another of your lance can, allowing you to take an indirect shot assuming you've got long-range missiles. A two-tone red line with an eye indicates an obstruction, and a dotted white line means you have line of sight but you can't target, usually because you've run out of movement points or are unable to turn. Using terrain to your advantage is critical. Whilst there isn't a traditional cover system, a cliff is still a cliff. Wherever possible, try to use hard terrain as best you can to force the enemy to move. BattleTech has always loved letting you blow a mech's arm or leg clean off, and it's not only really satisfying but has meaningful implications in battle. Take out a leg and the target can no longer sprint, and gains a permanent penalty to stability. Take out any body part and any weapons there will be no more, making your life much easier. Best of all, if you can eliminate a mech by taking out the head or both legs, you increase your chances of getting mech parts as salvage at the end of a contract. You should also try to keep track of any injuries you inflict on enemy mech warriors, as just like your own lance, if they take too many knocks on the head, it's over for them. Taking advantage of stability damage could prove the difference between winning and losing. Overheating can prove disastrous to a mech. Firing weapons and using jump jets can all contribute, and if you aren't careful, going beyond the threshold will start doing damage over time. If you don't heed the warning still, you run the risk of exploding. To keep it under control, you can avoid attacking or learn to be selective with your weapon fire, disabling anything with a low chance to hit, and try to take special notice of your environment. Standing in water or fighting on an ice planet, for example, reduces heat generation, allowing you to be a bit more gung-ho, whereas fighting in lunar or desert environs increases heat or slows down how it dissipates. You'll find that in general your chances to hit when stood shoulder to shoulder with the enemy are extremely low. This is because weapons have a minimum effective distance. Learn to hover over enemies when you select a move location so you can see accurate percentage estimates. You can always back out to experiment. The game provides visual rings on the ground indicating small, medium and long ranges that help you internalise these after a while. Focusing on a pilot's tactics stat will also decrease the minimum effective distance, so keep that in mind when developing your pilot. BattleTech is an extremely dense universe. Having existed for over 30 years, there's a lot of terminology, characters, factions and more to digest. Fortunately, harebrained schemes care about your sanity and have gone the extra mile in making things accessible. You can hover the mouse over almost any piece of the interface and get a detailed tooltip telling you about it, whether it's the body part to see which weapons are located there, status icons, or even a faction logo. You'll pretty much find assistance no matter where you are. On top of that, anytime you see yellow text, you can hover to get a detailed description of whatever that item, person or term is. It's like having a BattleTech encyclopedia on hand at all times. Some of the more hidden options in the game are the ability to withdraw if the battle isn't going your way, and the ability to eject from your BattleMech. Both of these options are incredibly useful if things aren't going well. Ejecting a pilot from the mech will ensure that that mech warrior survives, but will cause the head of that BattleMech to explode, requiring repair. Withdrawing from a contract is similar in that your Lance survives, but you run the risk of losing reputation if you haven't completed any objectives or killed any mechs. But survival is always preferable to being wiped out. So there you go, 10 useful tips to give you a head start in the world of BattleTech. Hopefully these tips will help your band of mercenaries get off to a great start. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to get more gaming goodness. So until next time, I've been Pucechan.